All right, today we're jumping into something called the 10 Days of Prayer. Now, this isn't just some casual event, it's this global, really structured program all about spiritual renewal. And honestly, the way it's built, it's pretty fascinating. So you gotta wonder, right? How do you actually build something like this? I mean, a 10-day spiritual journey, that's a big deal. How do you make it feel personal for every single person, but also really powerful for the whole group? Well, that's what we're gonna break down. Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to look at its core structure, the rules of the road, what an actual day feels like, and then what comes next. It's going to be good. All right, first things first. At the absolute core of this whole thing is this daily blueprint. And it's so simple but really powerful. This isn't just a bunch of random meetings thrown together. No way. It's a very specific, repeatable cycle that happens every single day. And here they are. Every single day, without fail, is built on these 3 steps, and the order is crucial. See how it starts with you, alone with God? Then it moves out to your family or your close friends, and only then does it culminate with the entire church family. That progression, from personal to public, that is the secret sauce. It's the key to the whole thing. And check this out. This quote from the Leader's Guide really drives that individual first idea home. It basically says, hey, before you even think about calling your church to do this, you need to experience it personally. It makes it crystal clear. The group experience is only as strong as the personal preparation that goes into it. Everything, and I mean everything, rests on that foundation. So that first step, time alone with God, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the non-negotiable starting line for the day. It's where every single person, doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, digs into the material themselves before they ever show up to the group meeting. Okay, so we've got the blueprint, that 3-part structure. But what about the rules of the road? Well, there's a whole set of guiding principles here, and they're all about making sure this thing is inclusive and super focused. And here are a few of the big ones. You can see it's all about getting everyone off the sidelines and into the game. We're talking including all ages, keeping prayers short and to the point, just a sentence or two, so that more people feel comfortable sharing. The goal is super simple. No spectators. Everyone participates. And just so you know, this entire program, the materials, the structure, all of it, is put together by the General Conference Ministerial Association. That's why it's so consistent for churches literally all over the globe. All right, theory is great, right? We've got the blueprint, we've got the principles, but what does this actually look like when people get together? Let's zoom in on that evening meeting. So take a look at this recommended flow. It's not a 3-hour marathon. It's a really tight 1-hour meeting. It kicks off with a simple supper, which is a great way to just connect. And then it moves right through these really specific blocks of time for prayer, for sharing, and for getting into the Word. It's all designed for maximum engagement, not just sitting and listening. Okay, and this slide perfectly shows how it all connects. On the left, that's your time alone homework, right? You read a passage and think about a personal question. But then look to the right. When you get to the group meeting, you're not starting from scratch. You're actually sharing what happened with a challenge from the day before. See how that works? Your private individual experience directly feeds the public group conversation. It's brilliant. And that brings us to this 24-hour challenge. This is such a cool part of the design. At the end of every single meeting, you're given a really practical, personal task to do over the next 24 hours. It's all about taking what you just talked about and actually applying it in your real life. It keeps the whole thing from just being a once-a-day meeting. So you do this for 10 days, and then what? Does it just end? Well, no. Actually, the program is designed very intentionally not to be the final destination. It's meant to be a launch pad. Yeah, the guide is super clear about this. It calls the 10 Days of Prayer a catalyst. It's not the event itself, but the thing that starts the reaction. It's meant to get everyone fired up for what they're going to do next together in their community. And they don't just hope that happens. The whole thing builds to this final meeting called What's Next, and it is exactly what it sounds like, a totally practical, hands-on brainstorming session. I love that the guide even lists the tools you need: a whiteboard, markers, sticky notes. That tells you right there, this isn't about talk, it's about action. It's about planning what you're really going to do. So when you boil it all down, what's the big idea here? It's pretty simple, actually. Structure fosters spirit. This whole thing is a case study in how a really intentional, deliberate structure can be used to create a very specific and very powerful spiritual experience. And this quote, which comes from the materials for day 5, really gets to the heart of it. It says, holiness isn't some fleeting emotional high. It's about surrendering your will and living by every word. That's what the structure is all about. It's designed to help cultivate that deeper daily walk, not just a 10-day spiritual buzz. And in the end, it all comes back to this simple, powerful number, 3. That 3-part journey happening every day. It starts with you, moves to your inner circle, and then out to the community. That is the engine that makes the whole 10 days go. So I'll leave you with this question. We've seen how this works in a spiritual setting, but think about it. The principle is pretty universal, isn't it? How different would our meetings at work, our community projects, maybe even our family gatherings be if we made sure everyone had time for personal preparation before coming together as a group? Just something to think about.